Okay. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances and start with our regular prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim YatkrapatamahamBande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madam Shri Chaitanya Swaram. Okay, Hare Krishna. I'm audible clear, I hope. So today we'll be starting the next chapter. We'll be starting from Canto 3, the status quo, chapter 27, understanding the material nature. So this is again a part of Kapila Shiksha. So we'll try to cover about 15 or 16 shlokas today. The flow of it I'll explain in a bit. First, let's read the first shloka, translation purport, offer our respects to Srila Prabhupada, and then we can start. I'll share my screen here. Okay, I'm hoping my screen is visible. So text 1, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Prakritistopi Purusho Nachyate Prakritair Gunaihi Avikaradakrtratvan Nirgunatva Jalarkavat. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: the personality of Godhead, Kapila, continued, when the living entity is thus unaffected by the modes of material nature, because he is unchanging and does not claim proprietorship, he remains apart from the reactions of the modes, although abiding in the material body, just as the sun remains aloof from its reflection on water. Purport: in the previous chapter, Lord Kapila has concluded that simply by beginning the discharge of devotional service, one can attain detachment and transcendental knowledge for understanding the signs of God. Here, the same principle is confirmed. A person who is detached from the modes of material nature remains just like the sun reflected on water. When the sun is reflected on water, the movement of the water or the coolness or unsteadiness of the water cannot affect the sun. Similarly, Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha, when one engages fully in the activities of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, he becomes just like the sun reflected on water. Although a devotee appears to be in the material world, actually he is in the transcendental world, as the reflection of the sun appears to be on the water, but is many millions of miles away from the water. So one engaged in Bhakti Yoga process is nirguna, or unaffected by the qualities of material nature. Avikara means without change. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that each and every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and thus his eternal position is to cooperate or to dovetail his energy with the Supreme Lord. This is his unchanging position. As soon as he employs his energy and activities for sense gratification, this change of position is called vikara. Similarly, even in this material body, when he practices devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, he comes to the position which is without change because that is his natural duty. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, liberation means reinstatement in one's original position. The original position is one of rendering service to the Lord, bhakti yogena or bhaktya. When one becomes detached from material attraction and engages fully in devotional service, that is changelessness. Akritritvat means not doing anything for sense gratification. When one does something at his own risk, there is a sense of proprietorship and therefore a reaction when one does everything for Krishna. But when one does everything for Krishna, there is no proprietorship over the activities. By changelessness and by not claiming the proprietorship of activities, one can immediately situate himself in the transcendental position in which one is not touched by the modes of material nature, just as the reflection of sun is unaffected by the water. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. So we are in a nice chapter here. In fact, when I was reading this chapter for preparing, I saw that there is so many things that are practically applicable for us from a day-to-day perspective. So if you remember the flow of how it's going right now in Kapila Shiksha, we saw in chapter 25 the significance or importance of devotional service. In the next chapter, we saw lot of material elements or the understanding of material nature and so on, and concluding that Kapil Dev actually spoke about devotional service. He ends the previous chapter. Let me share my screen again. I'm just using Bhagavad Shubhodhini. So he ends it all by saying that, you know what, all this understanding of elements of jivas, prakriti, kala, karma, in fact, it goes all the way to pradhana, mahatattva, and everything in the previous chapter. He says that through devotion, detachment, and spiritual knowledge, one can actually understand the Supreme Lord. So that's where we were, and now we are starting understanding how this material nature, what are the things that are happening in the material nature that affects the jiva, and what is our ultimate duty, which again goes back to bhakti. That's what we will learn in the first half of it today. I'll just quickly summarize here, and then we'll go to individual shlokas, translations, and uh, some points from the purport. Again, there's so much that Srila Prabhupada has given in the purports that please use your time and read it yourself. So if you see, with the first five shlokas, we'll talk about jiva in the conditioned state. What is causing this conditioning in the jiva? Okay, and we'll conclude the first five shlokas by saying how bhakti is very important. What is bhakti? What Ashtanga yogas and what is virakti? Shloka 6 is one of the most important shlokas. We'll spend a little more time on that. How our Shraddha or the faith in the Lord, along with our Shravana and the yoga practice, in our case, the yoga that we are doing, and not just Ashtanga yoga, is very important. Then we'll also talk about qualities of a Jnani through this process and few characteristics of the Lord. And we'll try to conclude today's session by actually talking about the soul and the presence of super soul along with the soul. So we'll stop there. Devahuti has her own questions post that, and we will see that in the next week's class. Okay, I'll go back to the document which we were talking about. So, like we just mentioned in the previous chapter, Lord Kapila had concluded simply by beginning the discharge of devotional service, one can attain detachment and transcendental knowledge. So we are already clear on this. So when we start beginning our devotional service, we are all sadhaka bhaktas in our sadhaka state also. Whatever activities that we do, wherever we begin, the more we do for the Lord, the more detached we become with the material items. So usually we conclude a class by this statement. I will probably start today's class with this statement saying that our progress in devotional service, our progress in Krishna consciousness is directly related to our detachment from material things. I want to know what are the latest news, what's happening in the politics, what's happening in sports, what is the latest movie that's released, what are the lot of gossips that are happening, what is the new technology, what is the new type of car. The more that I want to know, the more I have attachment, even though I feel that I'm not attached. अरे मुझे कोई attachment नहीं है. I am just looking at what is the new iPhone or what is that new car that is coming. I just want to know about the electric vehicles. You think you just want to know, but you are still attached. Okay, so your progress is directly connected to your detachment from material things, or rather, how detached you are from the material things. Individually, we all can go back and figure out. No one else can tell us how detached we are, right? Okay, so here we'll continue. When the sun is reflected on water, the movement of water or the coolness or the unsteadiness of the water cannot affect the sun. Okay, similarly, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita, right? So when one engages fully in the activities of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, he becomes just like the sun reflected on water. We'll see a couple of sun examples today. In this case, Srila Prabhupada in the pulpit mentions that this example is irrespective of how shaky the situation is around you, just as the sun in the water, right? So if there's a huge breeze and there is a wave in the water, does it affect the sun? No. If everything is calm, does it affect the sun? If it's raining, does it affect the sun? Sun in its own position is never affected. Like that, when we become a devotee, we are usually not affected by anything material. The simplest example we all would have heard of is that of Janak Maharaj. Yesterday was Sita Maya's birthday, so we talk about Sita Maya's father, Janak Maharaj. So Janak Maharaj, he used to take care of his area, right? So um, he would go a little far from his city into a ashram of a sage. In that ashram, in a cave, there used to be a wonderful sage, and he had a lot of disciples, and he would give a lot of spiritual knowledge and everything. And Janak Maharaj was usually going there, attending those sessions. And whenever Janak Maharaj came, this particular sadhu guru, he would become very happy, and he would ask him to come and sit next to him, and he would give a discourse specifically for Janak Maharaj. Lot of these full-time people, a lot of these full-time devotees with him, some brahmacharis or whatever it is, like they are always with this guru, and they are like, why is this king? See, king is a pure materialistic kind of person. He has got name, fame, wealth. He's got people surrounded, so much of sense gratification. Why is my guru always saying that? I mean, gives this special attention to this person. You know, this Janak Maharaj. Why is that so? Because we are full time here, we are fully renounced this person to fully attached to the material world. So the guru kind of sensed this. So one time when Janak Maharaj visits him, he actually creates a situation where all of them is sitting and he's giving a discourse. Someone comes running to the guru, I mean to the assembly where the guru and all the people are hearing. He tells them that, oh my dear guru, you know what? There is a fire in Janakpuri, in Janak Maharaj kingdom, and everything is burning away. So the guru is there, he just keeps his eyes closed, he kind of closes on the glass. Janak Maharaj is sitting right next to him, usually likes to sit next to the guru, and there are a lot of disciples, and there are also general public who are all there. And they all immediately get up and start running towards the city to figure out what happened, what should we do, what should we save, okay, what happened to my property, and so on. Janak Maharaj is just waiting, looking at the Guru for his instructions. So Guru just says nothing. Just says, whatever you want to do, you do. Janak Maharaj is just waiting. He's not doing anything. His entire city is being burnt. After some time, a lot of people come back. They understand that there was a false news there's nothing happened in the city. And then the guru continues saying that you all have what, probably one house, one cow. Some of you, brahmacharis, probably have a couple of cow pens. Nothing else you have. The entire city belongs to Janak Maharaj, and he was not at all bothered because he's not attached to it. Well, even that one cow pin that you have put it, uh, you know, for drying, you're worried is that burnt away. So, irrespective of the situation, a devotee is least affected. And that's again a test for us, saying that how less am I affected by worldly situations. Okay, so we'll move on. There's a lot of other nice details in the purpose. So I'll leave it you to please go ahead and take it. So what is the duty of a devotee? His eternal position is to cooperate or to dovetail his energy with the Supreme Lord. Again, I highlighted this because this word cooperate is very, very important. It's easy for us to tell I cooperate with everything my spiritual master says, or I cooperate with things that the Lord wants. The real understanding is I cooperate with devotees, because we are in the material world. Srila Prabhupada keeps mentioning this, saying that we are in a hospital, everyone is getting cured, all of us have diseases. My disease might be more serious than someone else's disease, right? So, but all of us have our own set of anarthas, our own set of diseases. That is why we are all here. So when we cooperate with the desire of the Lord and the spiritual master, that means we cooperate with other devotees. I see there are lot of examples that we can see around us, how our senior Vaishnavas behave, how they are okay to accept any devotee, any situation, irrespective of how they are. Okay, we do fight our battles, but we need to understand it is the situation and not the person. Okay, because we have already heard about enmity. We'll also see that in a little further today. Okay, even in the material body, when he practices devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, he comes to the position which is without change, because that is his natural duty. Probably again we'll end with the same statement today, saying that even in the material body that we are in, we can be considered fully liberated. Fully liberated. We are not affected by the situations around us. Okay, because serving the spiritual master's instruction, serving the Supreme Lord is our natural position. We don't need to be worried about it. Okay, that's our original position. When one becomes detached from material attraction and engaged fully in devotional service, that is changelessness. Okay, we've touched upon it. Please remember that changelessness means that I don't own anything. Everything is in the service of the Lord. That means I am always in the service of the Lord. स एष यर्हि प्रकृतेर्गुणेष्व अभिविसज्जते अहं अहंकीर्य विमूढ़ात्मा कर्तस्यास्मिति abhimanyate. So this is a shloka very similar to the ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Right? It's the same continuation of the shloka. When the soul is under the spell of material nature and false ego, identifying his body as a self, he becomes absorbed in material activities. And by the influence of false ego, he thinks that he is the proprietor of everything. Right? Why do we think we are the proprietor? Things have to, people have to respect me. This is my position. I am supposed to be the first one to be respected. This person is so junior, this person is so and so. Why do we do all this? Because of our false identification, even within the devotee community. Material world is complete rat race. You will see that happening. Everyone wants to prove that he or she is better than others. That is the reality. Right from LKG, they are told, oh, my son is better. Why is the father telling? The son immediately gets a crown saying that I am better than others. My son is one spell B. My son is got, now the 10th results have come. So many people tell why their children are so much better. 95% has become very normal, right? So there is a there's a sense of ego that comes right from our birth, right from our upbringing, and that continues even when we are within the spiritual society like Krishna consciousness, like that of ISKCON. We still have a sense of me and mine, I, me, and mine, right? So we should be very careful with that proprietorship. Okay, so in Bhagavad Gita it is said prakriti kriyamanani gunay karmani sarvasha, right? One who acts according to the particular modes of nature. So why is this happening? Because we feel we are influenced by the three modes of material nature. So this shloka, like ahankara vimulatma kartamiti manyate, because basically it says everything is done with prakriti, the three modes of material nature, influencing people to do it. But because of my ahankar, I think I am the karta, I am the doer. This false sense of proprietorship can be avoided simply by engaging oneself in devotional service under the direction of the Supreme Lord or his bona fide representative. For us, all the instructions, everything that we do in Krishna consciousness, yeah, or spirituality, or whatever you want to call it, for the pleasure of the Lord, we always say it's for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Direct instructions of senior Vaishnavas, our Guru Maharaj, and through Srila Prabhupada, right? So this word proprietorship is very, very interesting. So again, a very small, nice shloka, nice story. We'll try to understand. There is this very rich businessman. I might have told this in the past, so please bear with me. I'll keep it short. So there's this very rich businessman. He has two children. And he has a huge cotton factory. So his two children are also equally rich and they want to do their own business. So one day the family decides that they will actually sell off their cotton factory. Now this is an old man, so he decides, okay, let me sell off. So he puts his factory for sale and someone comes in, decides they will buy it. So the factory is on sale and that person who wants to buy the factory is already doing that background agreement and everything. So early one morning, this old man, the businessman, is woken up by his servants and they say that, sir, our factory is burning. There is fire in the factory. So immediately he puts on his jacket, he takes his car and rushes to the factory where he sees from far that entire factory is burning. He's fully shocked, disappointed. Arey, my factory is burning. Immediately his son comes, the first son comes and tells him, Arey Papa, don't worry, we have an insurance. So we can claim our insurance. You don't worry about this burning factory. His father cools down a little. He says that, oh, okay, if there is insurance, then maybe I'll get my money back. The second son comes. He says that, but my dear brother, the insurance doesn't work here because insurance doesn't cover act of God. Just giving an example. So he says that this particular kind of fire is because of our whatever setup that we had. The insurance will not cover this. Immediately the father suddenly sees my factory is burning. Again, he is under that shock. The first son says, no, but we have an agreement with that other buyer. So that buyer is already given a token advance. So he will buy it, right? It's his problem. So the father is now saying, oh, someone's factory is burning. The son says, but he's just given a token advance. He can at any point of time say that I don't want to buy because let's say this is a 10 crore factory, but he's given only 50 lakhs as advance. He might say, I don't want 50 lakhs, but he will not lose 10 crores. Again, for the father, my property is burning. The person says, no, but the person who has given that advance, he's a man of words. He will definitely buy it. Again, what the father is saying, that person's factory is burning. Okay, where our false sense of proprietorship works. This is mine, this is not mine, this is mine, this is not mine. It's the same factory that is burning. It was his own factory till yesterday, right? But today he's thinking, will someone own this up? Because I want the money out of this factory because this was mine, but now it is not mine, it is burnt away. Right? So this is what happens to our mind as well. Our mind decides which is mine, which is not mine, and it gives us a sense of, ownership of whatever I think is mine. Actually, I saw a very nice message, WhatsApp message that says that there are different kind of skeletons, dead bodies that are speaking, saying that I was a very famous person, but I died, I became a dead body. I'm a very rich person. I died, I became a dead body. I'm the most famous sports person. I died, I became the skeleton. And the fourth person says, I was just a devotee of Krishna and I'm here with Krishna. Irrespective of what your material positions are, you will just be a dead body, you will just be a skeleton. If you're not Krishna conscious, you'll just move on to other lives. So let's continue with this background. We'll go a little faster as we go along. Tena samsara padavim avasho abhyati anivratah prasangi prasangikaihi karma doshaihi tadasanmishra yonishu. Okay, what are the yonis that we travel? The conditioned soul therefore transmigrates into different species of life, higher and lower, because of his association with the modes of material nature. Unless he is relieved of material activities, he has to accept this position because of his faulty work. Now, Srila Prabhupada mentioned this karma dosha he is by faulty action. Many times we feel that the work that we are doing is not a faulty action. Arey, I'm doing good for the society and I'm taking care of another ashrama. I'm actually feeding the poor. I'm distributing, dresses in the railway station. So Srila Prabhupada clarifies your philanthropic activities. You clean the lake up, you do all these things. These are all activities. They are also of faulty reactions to it. What does it mean? Any activity, good or bad, performed in the material world, they are contaminated, faulty because of material association. They are in the modes. So Srila Prabhupada gives offering charity, opening hospitals, whatever, blah, 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 educational institutes, everything that we do, they're all faulty activities because what do they not do? They do not deliver you. It is clearly stated, Sadasan Mishra Yonishu. This means that one may take his birth in very high family or he may take his birth in higher planets among the demigods for his so-called pious activities in the material world. But this work is also faulty because it does not give liberation. So we have already seen in Bhagavad Gita, right? So the soul is eternal component. Soul is Sat. This material world is Asat, right? Asat, Nirananda, Achat, right? And we are Satchitananda. There is no compatibility. And Krishna mentions in Srimad Bhagavad Gita that Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tad Dhama Paramam. Right? So from where you don't need to come back, that is the place that you are supposed to come back to me. And here, whatever activities that we do, good or bad activities, what does it do? It takes us up, takes us down, takes us up, takes us down. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravarti Arjuna. Even if you go to Brahma's planet, you're coming back here. Right? So for a soul that wants eternality, this material world, all the activities that we are doing are of not much of a use, but continuation of the faulty reactions that we might get. There's no possibility of liberation. So one who desires material liberation has to turn his activities to devotional service. There is no alternative. So the same activities, right? So I give in charity, I open hospitals, I open educational institutions, I give food for others, I clean the lakes. All these activities, all these things should be actually turned towards Krishna being the center. I am not doing food distribution, I'm doing prasadam distribution. I am not giving in charity to someone on the roadside or to some cry and whatever helping hands, Udavam Karangal, that is. No, I give charity where I spread Krishna consciousness. That means I give charity where I can do book distribution, where I can do wonderful festivals for the Lord, for construction of the temple, right? Now figure out what are we doing. First thing, if you are not doing, then you have to do it. That is a requirement as a grihastha. Second thing, if you're doing, figure out where are you doing. Is that giving you good and bad karma, or is it giving you eternality? And on this topic of charity, if you have any doubts, anything, please reach out to senior Vaishnavas. Because what is the point of doing activities that are going to give us material life again and again? Okay, so let's continue. अर्थे हि अविद्यात्मानेऽपि संसृतिर्न निवर्तते ध्यायतो विषयान् अस्य स्वप्ने anarthāgamota yata, right? Anartha agamayata in swapna. Okay, actually a living entity is transcendental to material existence, but because of his mentality of lording it over material nature, his material existential condition does not cease. And just as in dream, he is affected by all sorts of disadvantage. So we saw the two examples, right? So the entire kingdom is burning. Janak Maharaj is not disturbed. His factory, the sold factory is burning. He is heavily disturbed because of his thinking that I am the lord of this. That's the issue here. So, and Kapila Dev very clearly says this is just as in a dream. Okay, this example of dream you have many times seen, right? So there's this lady who's just opened a new buttermilk shop. So she's got 2 pots of buttermilk for selling, and she's thinking, she slowly gets into a dream. She's thinking that, oh, if I sell this buttermilk, I will make so much money. I've got 100 rupees of buttermilk, but by selling this, I'll make 300 rupees. Tomorrow again, I'll sell. Tomorrow again, I'll sell. Day after tomorrow, I'll sell. I'll keep selling. Then I'll have so much money. Then I will buy myself a cow, and then I will be able to sell milk, curd, and buttermilk also. So I'll make more and more money. So I'll have more and more cows. I'll build a bigger house. I'll buy a huge farm. In the farm, I will have lot of things that I will put in the field. So that I'll get the rice, and I'll get sugar cane, and I'll get wheat, and I'll get all these things. And then she's dreaming, right? So wow, so much. Then I'll get more and more money. But one day, if my cow goes gazing into this field to eat away my crops, I'll take a stick and start beating that cow. Take a stick, and she hits the pots of buttermilk that she's kept. She's dreamt from 2 buttermilks worth 100 rupees to building a palace for herself. That's what we actually do. We keep dreaming, and in our dream, we keep building bigger and bigger things. But end of the day, we have broken that pot. We are back to zero. That means we are back to this material world. We again take birth again in the same place. So Srila Prabhupada says the dream, the example of dream is very appropriate due to different mental conditions in dream. We are put into disadvantageous and advantageous positions. Similarly, the spiritual has nothing to do with the material nature, but because of his mentality of lording it over, he is put into the position of conditional existence. Right? So our material dreams should be very much taken care of so that we have spiritual dreams. Another very important point in the purport, we'll see that the power of friendship is limited. Although one claims to be a friend, he cannot be a friend unlimitedly. There are unlimited number of entities and our resources are limited, right? So uh, 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 Chanakya Pandit actually mentions the friend in need is a friend indeed, saying that our friendship has become more for the sake of I have a friendship because this person satisfies my need. The day I stop satisfying my needs, I stop my friendship. Here it talks about you cannot have be a friend unlimitedly, but in Krishna consciousness, you can have ultimate friendship is unlimited friendship because we are friend of those who we bring to Krishna consciousness, those devotees who help us in Krishna consciousness, who have brought us to Krishna consciousness, keep us in Krishna consciousness, don't let us get diverted away. They are giving us unlimited mercy of the Lord. That's why association of devotees is very important. Even in this association, we need to understand that we need to take association for our spiritual benefits, and we need to give association for the benefit of others. Okay, the real benefit is when we actually show this mercy that we are God to others. Otherwise, it is incomplete. Okay, so we need to know where to take association, where to give association. You cannot be selfish. We are all Bhajananandis. We are all supposed to be, sorry, we are all Goshtanandis. We are all supposed to be in groups of devotees. Ata eva sanaischittam prasaktam asatam pati bhakti yogena tivrena viraktya nahidvasam. Okay, tivra bhakti, we have seen that earlier in Bhagavatam. Okay, so here the word viraktya is important, without attachment. Okay, let's see. It is a duty of every conditioned soul to engage his polluted consciousness, which is now attached to material enjoyment, in very serious devotional service with detachment. Thus, his mind and consciousness will be under full control. This word, Srila Prabhupada in the purports has used seriousness and sincerity in your devotional service many, many times. Right? So how do I know I'm serious? You will actually understand when you're chanting. Very simple. All of us today morning we would have attended Mangalarti. If possible, we would have chanted some rounds. Right? So how nicely your chanting happens tells you how serious you are in Krishna consciousness. During my chanting, I see my mobile. I'm talking to someone. I chant later in the day. Oh, इतना जल्दी क्या है? मैं तो पूरा दिन पड़ा है 16 माला के लिए. Right? So we chant later in the evening. Okay, we have other things parallelly happening. That means I'm not serious about my devotional life. Okay, you're not serious about your devotional life. That means your detachment will not automatically happen. You're attached to all sorts of material things. What are you doing with your mobile phone when you're chanting? You're looking at what are the things I'm missing, what are the things I need to get. I did not reply to this person. Oh, this one I need to place an order. This medicine I should take it. What happened? Suddenly your Japamala 16 notes is completed. 1.5 hours is done. You hang it, again continue your material activity. So what is your detachment? So your detachment is directly proportionate to your seriousness, which is directly reflected with the quality of chanting that you do every day in the morning. One must be firmly convinced of these three principles. We'll see this. Srila Prabhupada very nicely says, what are the three things? One should always think that Krishna is the proprietor, Krishna is the enjoyer, and Krishna is the friend. Not only should he understand these principles himself, but he should try to convince others and propagate Krishna consciousness. Like we just saw, right? So a good friend is the one who takes care of your benefits over and over again. And we cannot anytime do it because we are all limited. The only way we can do it is bring that person to Krishna consciousness. That's the best philanthropic, charitable, whatever activity that you can ever do, giving a person Krishna consciousness. What are the three principles that we should be firmly convinced of? We should know that everything belongs to Krishna. And all our activities is for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna is the enjoyer. And Krishna is Srihudam Sarvabhutanam. He is the friend of everyone. He is the friend of everyone. Right? He is my best friend. Okay. As soon as one engages, okay, we'll continue. What happens if you don't do this? Even the great yogi Vishwamitra, who was trying to control his senses by yoga practice, fell victim to the beauty of Menaka. There are many such instances. Unless one's mind and consciousness are fully engaged in devotional service, there is always the opportunity for the mind to become occupied with desires for sense gratification. Right? So, any kind of yoga practice, if it is not active, that means you're not actively serving, but just doing it, saying that, okay, this yoga practice is giving me peace of mind, this yoga practice is giving me good health, this yoga practice will give me oneness with God. Even Vishwamitra's example is given here, saying that such a yoga practice is unfortunately going to be useless because you're going to again fall down. Vishwamitra is very elevated personality, but in our case, we don't even have such a situation. Okay, Prasakta and Asatampati, right? The mind is always attracted by Asat, the temporary material existence, because we have been associated with material nature since time. immemorial. So it's like saying that this next thing will give me satisfaction. Right now, I just told about 10th exam, right? So 10th results have just come. So kids who wrote those 10th exam, they would have told 10th is your turning point in life. Write your 10th properly, your life will change. Right after the results, now the parents are saying, take up this, take up that. Your 12th is very, very important. After 12th, you will decide you will go to IIT, you'll get into some REC, you'll not get into this, you'll get into that. Now suddenly 12th becomes very important. After he or she finishes 12th, they will understand that college is important, work is important, this company is important, that is important, marriage is important. We keep moving from one temporary things to the next temporary thing. Okay. And this gives me this nice example that we have heard from devotees, right? So devotees used to actually go to one person, one businessman, asking him to join Krishna consciousness, spend some time with Krishna, you know, take up chanting and so on. This person had a simple thing: I do not have time. He always had this simple thing that I do not have time. Just sorry, just okay. He always says that I do not have time. Now one day, he became very seriously ill in the office. He actually fell down. So they rushed him to the hospital. And doctor said, what is your working? So he says that 8 o'clock I have my breakfast, I rush to office. Around 9, 10 o'clock I finish my office, I come back home. That is my day to day. Sometimes I work a little later, sometimes I travel, so I work a little early. So when this was told to him, the doctor said that from tomorrow morning, if you don't do 1 hour of walking, if you don't do 1 hour of walking, you'll probably not live for even one more year. Suddenly, this person who was 16, 17 hours busy every day came to a situation where he would wake up in the morning and every day walk. I always call him the man who walked. Right? Every day, 1 hour he would walk. Why? Suddenly he understood all that money, all the things that he had gained for all the while now has become useless because he might die. Suddenly, life has become more important for him. Right? So, like that, if you understand what is our priority, then automatically we'll make time. That person, if he had taken up Krishna consciousness, he would have done his morning japa walk, that 1 hour of walk or 1.5 hours of walk, 16 rounds, he would have been even more happier. Okay, he would have become even more happier. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so that's why it says that at all point in times we should be very much fixed in Krishna consciousness. So we have this Amrish Maharaj story that all of us know: Savai Mana Krishna Padarvindur Vacham Sivakunta Gunanvarnani. Right. So everything that you do, every step that you take, every activity that you do, see that we can do this very nicely for the pleasure of Krishna. So even our office work, even our taking care of our family, cooking at home, taking care of elders at home, children at home, everything can be centered around Krishna. And that is called seriousness in our bhakti. Like I said, this sixth shloka is a little important shloka. I will not take too much time, but very nice and important shloka. So we'll cover this. यमादिभिर्योगपतेरभ्यासान् श्रद्धयान्वितः मयि भावेन सत्येन मत्कथा श्रवणेन च. Okay, there are three pieces here. First is Yogapatihi, the yoga system. Okay, Shraddhayanvitaha. We have already seen Shraddhayanvitaha in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, with lot of Shraddha, with great faith. And Matkatha Shravanena. Okay, Matkatha Shravanena means hearing my katha. So who is telling this? The Lord himself, Lord Kapila is telling this. These three activities, what are they? One has to become faithful by practicing the controlling process of the yoga system and must elevate himself to the platform of unalloyed devotional service by chanting and hearing about me. Right. So, what are the three things Srila Prabhupada actually mentions? The Ashtanga yoga practice, right? And faith and hearing. These are the three things. Okay. the practice of yoga by physical exercise is not the ultimate goal. Okay, the real end is to concentrate and to control the mind and train oneself to be situated in faithful devotional service. Right. So any kind of even the Ashtanga yoga practice, unless you come to the samadhi stage, yama, niyama, asana, whatever you follow, pranayama, even dhyana, if you don't come to the stage of understanding that the entire thing of controlling my mind, training myself, everything is for serving the Lord, your yoga practice is useless because you're not getting the ultimate benefit. What is ultimate benefit? Bhavena or bhava is a very important factor in practice of yoga or in any spiritual process. Why? The Lord looks at your bhava. We keep saying, no, bhavagrahi janardana. The Lord looks at what mood you're working. That's why it said, even in your material situation, even in your office condition, even at the home, you will be able to please the Lord by just doing something for the pleasure of the Lord. The Lord is looking the mood in which you're serving. He doesn't want anything else. You can give the simplest of items. That's why Srila Prabhupada always mentions that following Krishna consciousness is extremely easy. There is absolutely zero complication. If you read that Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam shloka in the 9th chapter, Srila Prabhupada mentioned there should be no excuse for a person to follow Krishna consciousness in any part of the world. What is the Lord asking? A little leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a water? Can you not provide? Is that what is he looking for? What is he looking for? He's looking for the love, the mood, or the devotion in which you are actually giving that item to the Lord, giving it for the pleasure of the Lord. Okay, that's what the Lord looks at. Okay, in this connection, Swami Sridhara comments that Satyena means Nishkapatena, without duplicity. The impersonalists are full of duplicity. Sometimes they pretend to execute devotional service, but the ultimate idea is to become one with the Supreme. This is duplicity or kapata. In this connection, actually, I was reading a few things, and it says that in your when the Lord, when we talk about demigod worship and everything, we see that a common question that comes in. So, if ultimately everything is given by the Lord, Lord is the provider of everything. Why does the Lord have to create a system where I can go to so and so demigod for so and so benefit? You worship the sun god for good health. You go to Indra for power. You go to so and so for a good wife or a good husband, and so on. So all this is why does the Shastras talk about all this? Because it says ultimately all these are given by me. Other people are going to them. Avidhi Purvakam, he says, indirectly it is only me who is going to give everything. Why does he have to create all these things? Because he does not like people who come to him with kapata buddhi, right? So kapata is also typically used in Kannada, saying that we do duplicity. That means I have something else in my mind, but I am doing something else. I'm showing that I'm not doing that for so and so reason, right? So sometimes non-devotees, so we don't even need to talk. Most of the time at places like office and other places, there's always this thing that people use us for their benefit. They are used. One thing we should not do in Krishna consciousness is that we have an ulterior motive when we are doing any kind of service. Sridhar Swami actually says, Nishkapatena, that is when you are Satyena, when you're truthful. Okay. That means that I have, okay, if I go through this person, I will get my initiation quickly. If I go with this person, I'm going to get nice prashadam. If I do this kind of a service, everyone will appreciate me. When you have such kind of a ulterior motive in your service, it will not sustain for long. Why do devotees, even after years in Krishna consciousness, fall down from Krishna consciousness? Is because of this. They have stayed all these years with an ulterior motive. Suddenly, that provisioning is stopped. So they feel that, oh, what is the point of continuing? Right? I'm not getting that kick anymore because I'm not getting that special treatment. You should always understand the special person here is the Supreme Lord. The special person is the acharyas. The special person is Srila Prabhupada. That special person is my spiritual master. That special person is all the devotees who are here because they are all better than me. The moment we understand that everyone is better than me, automatically the word humility will come in. Because what is there to be proud of? There is no pride. Pride and humility are the two opposite words. So I become humble. Every day morning when we do our Chetodar Pramarchanam, we actually tell that, right? So I want to be humbler, Tarorapi Sahishna. I want to be so much tolerant. I want to be humbler than the grass, right? Trinadapi Sunichena. We actually tell this, but inside me, I have a lot of pride. So they don't go along. So when I'm saying all this, I understand that I'm telling what is there in the Shastras. I myself am not there in a situation, but it is important to know that's why Srila Prabhupada actually writes this. These purports are wonderful. I mean, every word of this purport is something that we can highlight, we can make notes of. But in the interest of time, I'll keep moving on. Okay. Sarvabhuta Samatvena Nirvaira Vairena Prasan Prasangataha Brahmacharyena Maunena Swadharmena Valiyasa. There are about 14 qualities of this person who is following yoga that is mentioned in the next three shlokas. So we'll quickly touch upon those. What are these? In executing devotional service, one has to see every living entity equally. That means there is no differentiation that we do. Okay. Pandita Samadarshinaha, without enmity. We have discussed enmity many times. 9th chapter starts with that. My dear Arjuna, I am giving you this Raja Vidya because you're non-envious of me, without enmity towards anyone, yet without intimate connection with anyone. That means I do not have, you know, connection for material reasons, or I do not associate with materialistic minded people. One has to observe celibacy, brahmacharya, be grave, not getting overexcited by things that are happening, and execute his eternal activities, offering the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here, grave is used. It's also Maunena in the shloka. So we'll take some important point. A devotee has no enmity towards any living entity, but that does not mean that he mixes with everyone. We just spoke about taking association and giving association. So I need to have that clear differentiation where I join them. Sometimes we go with, we need to be in association with the families, their family function, we cannot skip it. You go there, but you don't take their association, including don't take unnecessarily food there, right? So take only prashadam, right? So we need to know that. When this is a very simple thing. And when there are discussions of unnecessary gossips, oh, is bar Modi aega ki Rahul Gandhi aega? You want to sit there for a few minutes, sit, smiling, and then slowly you will get a phone call. You take the phone, walk out, take your counter, start chanting. When the next requirement of you is there, just go show your face. Right. So that's all. You need to know where to mix. And when in devotee association, when devotees are all sitting together, discussing Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, some spiritual topic, that time don't take your bead bag and start chanting. Or walk away from that place saying that, oh, I did not finish my rounds. No, prioritize. The rounds per priority, finish it in the morning. When you get an opportunity to associate with devotees, spend time there. Okay. Uh, just move on. A devotee should observe celibacy. So we all know the four regulative principles. There's not much of a discussion at all on that. A devotee should not speak needlessly. Maunena, the word Maunena is used here. There's some Mauni Babas and all that, right? So that's not the Maunena here. Maunena means silent. Silent does not mean that one should not speak at all, but that he should not speak nonsense. He should be very enthusiastic when speaking about Krishna. But otherwise, he can remain silent. You don't need to participate in gossip. Many times at office feel that this person is so quiet here because I don't want this. No, oh, can we go for lunch together, dinner together, blah blah blah. You can, provided you want to. But when there is nonsense being spoken in and out, you can avoid it. If it's useful, if it is required, participate. If it's not, then you can keep quiet. Um, just in the interest of time, we'll move on to more translations. For his income, a devotee should be satisfied with what he earns without great difficulty. He should not eat more than what is necessary. He should live in a secluded place and always be thoughtful, peaceful, friendly, compassionate, and self realized. I talk about qualities of a devotee. one thing obviously is how much is enough, right? So how much food is enough, how much income is enough. It's very difficult to gauge, very difficult to gauge because of what we see. 99% of people around us are always hankering for more and more, more and more. So when we look at this Ishavasimidam Sarvamidam, we understand everything belongs to Krishna. I have my quota. If my quota is two idlis, then that's two idlis. The next idli I eat is for someone else. It's a communist theory. I'm not going there. I'm just saying that actually we all have our quota. We don't need to over endeavor. We should put all our efforts. You have seen that in Isha Upanishad or in and in Nectar of Instruction, right? So don't over endeavor for place, position, money, food, whatever it is. What should we endeavor for is, can I be peaceful with what I have got? That agitation should not be there, neither should be the hankering. Okay, and we should also understand that everything comes by the mercy of the Lord. If it's not there in karma, you're not going to get it. Don't worry. Lot of boys and girls, when sometimes get involved into some marriage counseling, or not counseling, basically when people come with their biodata to get married. So this person wants a very obedient uh, uh, wife who looks like Aishwarya Rai. Why? Who? Uncompatible. It doesn't work that way, right? So I mean, not always. It can. There are exceptions, but yeah, you want a well-educated, highly earning, very beautiful, but very respectable wife. Can't se milega, right? So you should also understand you're over hankering for things. So it's just an example, but we have our own wish list, and sometimes we feel these are the things that are minimum required for me. Please understand, they are just taking you away from the Lord. The more you hanker for that. Kapila instructs that we should not endeavor hard for things which may come automatically without extraneous labor. That means you're designated to get this, you will get it. So don't worry about it. Right. And this is from material perspective. When it comes to spirituality, be very, very hankering for more and more services. If you're collecting charity, if you're collecting donations for Krishna, get as much as you can. So I've seen these devotees who are part of DOVP, right? So those Prabhujis, we were very recently talking to Hari Leela Prabhu when we were in Mayapur. He spent so much time after his class with some of us, saying that he's building this hospital, Mayapur hospital, right? So, and he was talking like, you should do this. No, this is your service to Guru and Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, right? So you should be fully enthusiastic to get things done for Krishna. Advancement in Krishna consciousness does not depend on any materially prosperous or distressed condition. It is free from the conditions imposed by material life. A very poor man can execute Krishna consciousness as effectively as a very rich man. One should therefore be very satisfied with this position as offered by the Lord. Which we just spoke about it, right? So you can follow Krishna consciousness in any position, and you can be as effective as anyone else. What matters? Your mood in your service, your seriousness and your sincerity in your service. This means that one should eat only as much as necessary to maintain the body and soul together. Please don't pack prashadam if it is not something that for your fridge, because that might be useful for some other person. So eat as much as you want, not as much as you think you can take. A devotee should be friendly to everyone, but his intimate friendship should be with devotees only. With others, he should be official. Right. So this something again I mentioned, saying that at office you need to know where is, as long as it's work related, you're fully focused, fully working, your 8 hours, you are dedicated. No one has a complaint that, oh, this person is Hare Krishna person, this person doesn't work properly. It should never happen. But beyond those 8 hours, you want to hear Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, you want to have self-realization. Oh, I'm available for any kind of conversation. You want to talk about material gossips. Sorry, I'm not the person. We need to know that, and we need to get out of that place. Okay, one's seeing power should be increased through knowledge and spirit, knowledge of spirit and matter, and one should not unnecessarily identify himself with the body and thus become attracted by bodily relationships. Right. So my seeing power should be Divya Chakshu, right? So Shastra Chakshusha, right? So it is through the eyes of the Shastras. That's when I will be able to differentiate what is necessary, what is unnecessary. Everything otherwise, material Chakshu, material college school education gives everything that is purely materialistic. That means I'm still stuck here. One should be situated in transcendental position beyond the stages of material consciousness and should be aloof from all other conceptions of life, thus realizing freedom from false ego. One should see his own self just as he sees the sun in the sky. The sun in the sky is not affected by anything material. He should be aloof from the material situation. So here, Srila Prabhupada talks about the three situations when we are awake, consciousness. So three stages of, uh, you know, uh, Nidra, Shushupti, and Jagrati. So Jagrati is a stage of awake. When we are awake, consciousness acts in a particular way. When we are asleep, it acts in a different way. When we are in deep sleep, consciousness acts in still another way. Basically meaning that we need to be awake in Krishna consciousness. For a yogi, the time for sleep for everyone else is the time he is awake, and when is a time for everyone to be awake materially, it's a time for sleep for a yogi, right? So we see that in Bhagavad Gita. These three stages, in simple way to understand that this is my thing. So we have talk about subtle things and serious things and so on, right? So when you're awake in Krishna consciousness, you very clear what is right, what is not right. When you're asleep, half awake, right? So you know things are moving around you, things are happening, but you're not focused on those. And when you're in deep sleep, you're have zero focus on what's happening around you, spiritually speaking, right? So we should be awake in our spirituality. Materially, you need to be awake enough to get things done. See, we are not those renouncers that we don't do anything in material world. We need to do things in the material world so that it is favorable for our Krishna consciousness, right? So why? What does it say? Our eyes are smeared with the love of Krishna. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Right. So the Premanjana, that that kajal that we put, it is the kajal of love of Krishna that we put in our eyes. That time what happens? You're able to see Krishna straight. Right. So we'll be able to see Krishna everywhere. He always sees Krishna inside and outside. Actually, in the next shloka, we'll actually we'll see more details on this. Okay, a liberated soul realizes the absolute personality of Godhead, who is transcendental and who is manifest as a reflection even in the false ego. He is the support of the material cause and he enters into everything. He is absolute, one without a second, and he is the eyes of the illusory energy. So if you see this very nice flow, it spoke about the yoga, hearing and faith, and then it talks about the qualities that are required for that yogi. Right. So we saw what all we should do. You should not take association, you should be a pony, you should follow brahmacharya, you should follow all these things. That time you'll be able to, when your eyes is tainted with love of God, you'll be able to see God in and out. Who is that Lord? He's this person. These are characteristics of the Lord, right? So this particular shloka, I think shloka 12 or shloka 11, they're actually seeing the characteristics of the Lord. A liberated soul actually sees and he realizes the Lord. And he sees the Lord is everywhere and he is supporting both in the material and the spiritual situation because he is the cause of all causes, right? He is one without a second. The presence of the Supreme can be realized just as the sun is realized first as a reflection on the water, second as a reflection on the wall of a room, although the sun itself is situated in the sky. The Supreme Lord is everywhere. So the example here is perfect. The sun is situated in the sky far, far away from the earth, but its reflection can be seen in the pot of water or in the corner of the room. A dark room when filled with sunlight gets illuminated. Similarly, a pure devotee can realize the presence of the Supreme Personality of God in everything by the reflection of his energy. So if you understand, Srila Prabhupada, when he actually went to the US for the first time in his Jaladuta, he had different experiences, but he said that I could always see the hand of the Lord in every situation that I was there in. I was going there to fulfill the mission of my spiritual master, fulfill the instructions that were given to me by my spiritual master. Just because I had taken those instructions as my life and soul, I could see that the Lord was always with me. Not for a moment I was afraid or I was questioning, saying, Are, why am I here? Why am I put into this situation? Srila Prabhupada writes, Make me dance. Oh Krishna, you got me all the way to the shore in the Boston, make me dance. So you are completely surrendered to the desires of the Lord. Right? You want the Lord to make you dance however the Lord wants you. And that should be our situation. So someday we should come into this understanding. Today we may not be there. Today, if someone tells us tells me do this service, I will think, what is the benefit of doing this service? Or this service, for this I need to do so much work. Or this one, so much hard labor. I should do 1 hour of prasadam serving. Instead, give me some easy service, no? So we choose our service. You should understand we should whatever pleases the spiritual authority. Not always the Lord comes and gives us direct instruction. The Lord comes and gives us instruction through our spiritual authorities. Okay, moving on. The self-realized soul is thus reflected first in the threefold ego and then in the body, sense, and mind. As we get our self-realization going, we understand that I am not this body. This is my false ego, right? So I am this body, or everything in relation to my body is false ego. But when one is self-realized and he thinks he is an eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord, that identification is real ego. So the ego doesn't go away. The false ego is removed so that our real ego is coming up front. Okay, so we should move from these three modes of nature, right? So even goodness, passion, ignorance, even from the above the mode of goodness, we need to go. We should go into the mode of Shuddha Sattva, or pure goodness, right? We should elevate ourselves. So we should know, chanting is done in all the three phases: mode of passion, ignorance, and sometimes in the mode of goodness. We should know that every service, every activity that we do has these three modes, and we should progressively move towards the Shuddha Sattva. Although a devotee appears to be merged in the five material elements, the object of material enjoyment, the material senses, and the material mind and intelligence, he is understood to be awake, to be freed from false ego. Here it talks about a devotee. A devotee might do exactly the same thing like any of us does, or a normal materialistic person does. He also wakes up in the morning, urgently gets ready, whatever little chanting he or she does it, they do it, and then one quick lamp, one tulsi parikrama if time permits, or little water to tulsi maya, and rush to office. Again, the entire day goes that way. Comes back very tired in the evening, whatever phone calls, talking to family, that this goes back to sleep. For an outside person, this also looks, "Hey, I also do the same. This person also does the same." But between his doing this rush activities, he's given exclusive time for chanting in the morning. Sometimes while he travels, he hears to a harikatha, he hears to some lectures. In the evening, before he goes to sleep, he's opened up some book and he's reading either Krishna book or Bhagavatam or whatever he's practicing, Lila Amrita, right? So their activities look exactly like what the others do, but he's not in them. He is to be understood to be freed from these things. The explanation by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of how a person can be liberated even in this body is more elaborately explained in this verse. The living entity who has become Satyadrik, who realizes his position in relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, may remain apparently merged in the five elements, but he is actually above them. Right? So we are also in this material world, in this material body, it's going through all the changes, whatever we have heard, but our consciousness need not be material. That is the takeaway here, right? Our consciousness is an option for us to decide if my consciousness has to be material or not material, in fact, spiritual. The living entity can vividly feel his existence as the seer, but because of the disappearance of ego during the state of deep sleep, he falsely takes himself to be lost, like a man who has lost his fortune and feels distressed, thinking himself to be lost. Right. So as we are in deep sleep spiritually, we have the dream state. We spoke about the dream example, right? So we keep dreaming of things. Everything is material. Things happen in their own cases. Like for example, if someone touches or hits, accidents a new car, the owner of the car is getting so badly hurt. Forget someone else doing it. This person while taking a reverse is touched a pole or a tree or whatever it is. This person is so badly hurt. For 5 days, his mind is fully on that car. Oh, show my car got hit. I should have been careful. This person did so and so to me. My car has got a dent. Why? He thinks he's that car. It reminds me of an example. Just one more shloka to go. I'll probably give this. This again one of the forwards from WhatsApp, but it actually gives us a sense of how people think. Oh, a very rich lawyer. He was driving a sports car. He comes. He's driving in a sports car and he meets with a bad accident. Car is badly broken. This person is fallen off the car, and people rush to him, and he's crying very very badly. Yeah, and people are trying to console. It's okay. It's just a car. Don't worry, and all that. Someone says that forget the car, sir. Your hand is broken. Your left hand is actually disconnected from your body. He immediately suddenly sees that, oh no, my hand is broken. What happens to my Rolex watch? Understand? So sometimes we are so attached materially that we don't realize there is higher reality, that my Rolex watch is material, but I am not. And the importance should be given to my self and not the body. Self-realization is very important. A person who's lost a great sum of money, this is the same example. I've just finished. So the last shloka for today. When by mature understanding one can realize his individuality, then the situation he accepts under false ego becomes manifest to him. So he understands that I falsely thought this to be me, but I am not this. I am beyond this. That is self-realization. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, situation in one's real constitutional position is called mukti or liberation. So even in this world, even in this body, we can become Jivan Mukta. We can become liberated here itself, right? So this is an opportunity that we have, starting sincerely with our chanting and hearing, we should be able to progress in Krishna consciousness to a situation where we become less and less dependent on material situation and completely dependent on the Supreme Lord. Okay, I will pause here. We have a couple of minutes. Any devotee has any questions, any comments, anything to add to whatever I have mentioned so far, please feel free.
Very practical and very insightful.
Prabhu, your voice is very low.
Hare just a minute. Hare Krishna, can you?
It's still a little low. Is it for me or for others as well? I'm not sure. We are done with the class. If anyone wants to
Yes,
unmute.
Prabhuji, we can't hear anything.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Manisha Mataji, I can hear clearly. So, Srihari Prabhu, if you can just check.
Your device is ready to pair.
Pranam. Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare
Thank you. If there are no
Hare
questions.
Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanat Pranam. Is my voice clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Prabhu, I was saying that today's class was very practical and very insightful. A lot of practical insights in devotional service. Thank you very much for the class, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I'm hoping there's some takeaways.
Yes, a lot of takeaways, actually. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. If there are no questions, then we will wrap up the class today. We have a wonderful Nasim Chaturdashi coming in, so please do join us at temple where it's available. So on 22nd, that's on Wednesday. So we'll hope to see many of you there. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you,
That was
Prabhu.
Srimad